want to give you something heavy on your mind going to sleep this Sunday evening in America, getting ready for this vote. A lot of you just watched Roland Martin, Obama. You were on that call, maybe. You saw the recent stuff from Donald Trump. So if you guys are in here, share this live and all that good stuff like that. You guys share it because I'm telling you, there we go. There we go. Like, if you can hear my voice, please send this out there. Please send it out there, you guys. Share it and like it because David Youngblood, you know him, the U.S. Attorney lobbyist from D.C. that you guys love because in the show he's very smart. He knows his politics. He's on here today to set me straight. You all know David Hailey, U.S. Senator David Hailey from Kansas. He's here also to answer the questions and things you guys have been asking me. He's here to get in here as well. You guys, a lot of you guys are out there and you want to know what's going on. But at the end of the day, what's going on is we all confused. We all divided. And we want to know what the hell is going on. So you guys, we got a little bit of a countdown. Test your mics. We've already heard David. They're already here. So don't go nowhere. They already here ready to go. So don't go nowhere. But I want you to guys, let's grab this countdown. Let's do some promotion. But you grab a snack, you guys, and get right on back here. Hit that countdown, Julius. Let's get them going. Let's get you in the mood, y'all. Wake up, you guys. Wake up. Put that countdown on.
Head to toe, let your whole body talk.
2 Grammys Chinese, red carpet TV, valet my limousine, box office sweetie, and Oscar nominee. Now watch me snatch trophies.
Woo! Cover girl, put the bass in your walk. Head to toe, let your whole body talk. Cover girl, put the bass in your walk. Head to toe, let your whole body talk.
Walk, now walk, walk, now walk. Stroll down the runway, another payday, cover of magazine. And when they see me, they wanna be me. I am the fantasy.
Woo! Cover girl, put the bass in your walk. Head to toe, let your whole body talk. Cover girl, put the bass in your walk. Head to toe, let your whole body talk. Bump and bump it, bump it and bump, bump it.
Oh my God, you guys, get in here, because we are undecided, we're confused, we're black men in America, expats, and you guys, you know what? We've got questions, and you know what? Hey, you guys, live on the set, Kareem Jackson for Coffee and Kareem this morning. I'm going to tell you guys, we're getting into this morning. We have got questions, you guys. Make sure you got your coffee, you guys. We got questions. We're confused. We don't know what to do. We don't know who to vote for, and we're totally frustrated. Today, you guys, Coffee and Kareem, U.S. Senator David Hailey is here, Senator from Kansas, and the U.S. Attorney and lobbyist, you guys, David Youngblood is also here today. So this is going to be a serious show. You guys are getting into this because you know Donald Trump, he's announced that expats, guys like me, we might get a little free tax, no double taxation. Kamala Harris, she's black, she's a woman, she's a Democrat, and every black person, every black guy should vote for the Democrats. So we got questions. You guys have been sending them in for weeks. We got the topics you guys want to talk about. We got less than 2 weeks, I think, for the U.S. election. So this is a serious situation. So I want you guys to grab your coffee. I want you guys to get your snacks, get whatever you need. If you're in America right now, good evening. I want you to watch this show. We have U.S. Senator David Hailey on the show today to answer some serious questions and tell us why should black men, black folks, expats, whoever, be a Democrat, vote Democrat. And U.S. Attorney and lobbyist David Youngblood in D.C. is here as well because he's going to tell us all about why we should be voting Democrat. So you guys, Republican black guy who voted for Obama but don't know what to do this time. I wasn't really sure when it was Obama. When it was Biden and Trump, I was looking more at the couch But now I do lean a little bit to the right. I've been a Republican longer than Trump's been a Republican. Let's not forget that, you guys. So I wanted to kind of figure this out, but now that Kamala's in here, she is a woman. I do like that. I think that we need a little female cleansing spirit right now. So I'm into this situation. And then also, you guys, Democrats, I really don't think that we should be giving everybody so much credit about giving us human rights. I'm not sure about the whole situation. It's very confusing. So I thought I'd bring these guys in here to help me make my decision, you guys. So a lot of you guys who do watch the show wonder, why am I into politics so much? Why am I talking about politics so much? Remind you, you guys, let me remind you. I've been an expat for over 12 years. I've had a passport since I was 8 years old. And at 8 years old, I went to Africa. I went to the American International School. I was one of the only black folks at the dang school in Nigeria, in Lagos. I was one of the only blacks at the school. But my point is, I got woke a long time ago. When you guys now are like, I went to Africa, I stepped on the ground and it came over me, or you guys are passport bros, I want relationships. I knew that when I was 8 years old. I'm now 52, you guys. So you guys, I want you guys to figure this out and understand. Okay, go grab your coffee, you guys. This is going to be a great show. Grab your coffee, you guys. Be ready for this show. Black Wellness Coffee. This episode is brought to you by Black Wellness Coffee. So let's not forget that. But the reason that I talk about politics so much is because 10 million of us expats out here in these expat streets, we left America because of politics, y'all. That's why we left. Passport bros, they're politics. Inflation, politics, racism, politics. That's the issue. So you guys, again, today, serious show. We're going to get into this. I'm going to tell you why we vote, why politics is serious, why expats, 10 million of us, are wondering what to do and more engaged now than ever before. I want to talk about why black men, more than ever since Lincoln, are looking at the Republicans, supporting Trump publicly. A lot of them have always supported Republicans. A lot of our parents who are entrepreneurs have always done that, but now they're doing it publicly. So you guys, grab a snack, get your coffee, baby, get your coffee and come back and be ready, because David Youngblood is here. David Hailey is here. So a U.S. Senator and a U.S. attorney and lobbyist from D.C., y'all, is here because you got questions, and I do too, and we want answers. So grab a snack and come right on back.
In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom. Freedom not just to get by, but get ahead. The freedom to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to make decisions about your own body. We choose a future where no child lives in poverty, where we can all afford health care, where no one is above the law. We believe in the promise of America, and we're ready to fight for it. Because when we fight, we win. So join us. Go to KamalaHarris.com and let's get to work.
I'ma keep on running, cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
Trump's left the building.
We
Over.
can now project the winner of the presidential race. Donald Trump wins the presidency.
What started off as unlikely, impossible, is now reality.
I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
We have a president who
actually fulfilled the promises he made during the campaign. Securing the border to foreign policy.
He now has a record as president that's pretty damn impressive.
Breaking news out of Palm
The
Beach,
FBI
Florida.
has executed an unprecedented search warrant at President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. The former president has both sides of the political aisle up
Is
in
a
arms.
dangerous and unstable moment in American history.
The Justice Department has just indicted former President Donald Trump.
7 years. They hated him, they targeted him, they hunted him.
This is the epitome of the abuse of the prosecutorial power to preempt political decisions.
I never thought anything like this could happen in America. The only crime that I've committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. America will always rise to every challenge and overcome every danger.
Donald Trump seems to always get stronger when challenged. These types of things, I think, give him strength.
When I'm reelected, I will totally obliterate the deep state. As long as we have pride in our beliefs, courage in our convictions, and faith in our God, then we will not fail.
Hello guys, my name is Ron McLean, and you've seen me before on television, commercials, TikTok, etc. And I am now working with the Philippines Magazine International, aka PH-Mag. I'm a former performer, host, brand ambassador, and content creator. We are in the Philippines, baby, and I'm proud to share this amazing Black Wellness Freedom Blend. If you guys are one of those amazing ultimate Philippine affiliates, you guys, if you want to be a brand ambassador, hit me up. Because Black Wellness Freedom Blend is available right now. It's hazelnut, it's goodness, it's beautiful, all natural, and all wonderful. Philippine farm, hand roasted and hand picked. Black Wellness is a Filipino farm fresh and hand picked by Filipino farmers. This is hand ground, hand roasted goodness. It's healthy, you guys. It's great. So easy. It's so smooth. You can drink it black like how it's supposed to be. That's a healthy way for you to boost your immune system, to boost your semen, to boost your great antioxidants. Okay, grab you some of this, you guys. Health is a big deal right now, and we're proud to announce that. It is now available in the Philippines nationwide. Some of this wellness in every single drop. We have two flavors right now, the hazelnut and Baraka blend. We all this is it. With every zip, we help a Filipino farmer. Contact us now, www.thephilippinesmagazine.com or call us 0910-090-2447. Available in the Philippines, you guys. I'm on a wellness journey, cleansing myself and starting all new me. Oh, Black Wellness Freedom Blend is helping me. Let's get you some of this Black Wellness, you guys, nationwide in the Philippines. Black Wellness Freedom Blend coffee. Be one of our sellers now. Contact us again, www.thephilippinesmagazine.com or call us 0910-090-2447. Ron McLean, guys, yo.
Success is for everyone. You're special. You're live on the set with Kareem Jackson. Kareem Jackson is here. Turn your dreams into reality. Remember, baby, success is for everyone. Live on the set. New shows weekly.
Baby, 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 baby. Happy Sunday night, you guys. Welcome back. Hope you guys got your Black Wellness coffee out there. Hope you're supporting those Filipino farmers I've been telling you guys about. And if you guys are undecided or confused, don't know what you're going to do, you're not alone. You saw the intro. You saw what we're talking about. I'm so glad you guys are here live on YouTube, live on Facebook. You're live at CareemAntonio.com, LinkedIn for Black Wellness, you guys. You guys, first of all, we're going to get right to this. That was a long, long, long commercial break, but we had to be fair. We couldn't play Kamala without playing Trump. We couldn't play Trump without playing Kamala because we have a very diverse, see the Filipino fantastic coffee they were promoting, the Filipino ABS-CBN guy. We're a very diverse show here. So we got to make sure everybody's happy. Everybody's watching. This is a neutral space. I don't mind them sitting up and jumping to me and everything. I don't mind them doing that. You guys, so what we're doing is I've got David and David here today to answer the questions that you guys have been answering right now. They're here. So when it comes down to this, you guys have already sent in your inquiries. You guys have already sent in. We're jumping right to that. We're getting into it. So we're not going anywhere. No more commercial breaks till we get to the end of this segment, you guys. We're ready to go. Jules, how's things looking, Jules? How they looking? How we looking out there? We're good? How we looking out there? How's David and David? Okay, you guys, these guys are ready. You have the thumbnail. Let's put the banner down there with the Davids. You guys, I'm not an expert. You guys, a lot of you get mad at me. Even my friends get mad at me by the way that I communicate and what I talk about and what I feel like and how I feel about politics sometimes. So I figured I'd bring David and David back today and let you guys go on with these guys. Yeah, bring them up here real quick. No more delay. They're tired. It's late in America. Please bring them on in. I want to thank you very much, you guys, for being here. David, brother, I appreciate that. There's a little bit of a delay, about 10 seconds. You know, we're a political show, so Facebook, especially, and YouTube be delaying us so they can watch what we're saying and cut us off if we say anything too crazy. But you guys, thanks for being here. If you guys have any questions, we're live right now. If you're in the live chat, in a minute, we're going to put the live link into the chat so you guys can join here and ask questions live if you want to. But David Youngblood, I appreciate you being here. U.S. Attorney David Youngblood, how you doing, brother? You look good in them little cute glasses, David. I can see you now.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother. I can hear you. I got two delays. Got one in my ear and one over here. But Go ahead, David.
Thank you. I'm here. I'm pleased to be here. Thank you. And I'm pleased to be on the line with Senator Hailey.
Yeah. Well, Brother David, I want to get right to it. You cussed me out last week because I was undecided. You cussed me out again because I didn't say Kamala ain't black enough. And you got mad at me again because I was talking about how Trump is going to let the expats go, no taxation. So before David Hailey comes in, he's getting ready and all that good stuff back there. David, why were you mad at me, brother? What did I do? What did I say? What's the problem?
Because I think in this year, 2024, no one should be confused about what this election is about. This is not about double taxation. This is not about abortion, voting rights, any of the so-called issues they've enumerated for us to be concerned about. This election is about whether the United States will continue as a democracy or a democratic republic. That's the only test this election. And who will support the continuation of the nation as we know it, or do we want to turn it into something none of us currently living have witnessed before? It's easy for me.
Well, I understand, but the fact of it is, David, people are confused. Americans are confused. I want to say people, let's be very specific. Americans are confused. Americans don't know who to choose. Americans are wondering. And I understand what you mean by it should be a no-brainer. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, the fact is that Americans are confused, are frustrated. And I think that conversations like what this is going to be are the way that it sits up and determines and helps us to decide. But I think that we can't ignore the fact that people are confused, not sure. And not just black people, Asian Americans, white Americans, black Americans, biracial Americans, right?
Everybody
So
in America is biracial. There are no purebreds in America.
yeah, I'm sorry, I've got a little bit of a delay.
Look,
I just heard, yeah, okay, well, same difference. Biracial Americans
yeah,
are, we're all. My point is just saying that at the end of the day, some Americans are confused. So I think the conversations need to be like, okay, it's about democracy, but at the end of the day, like I've said to you when we've talked before, is that guys like Trump are normal to me. That's where we came from. That's what we've been dealing with. So it's not that big of a deal. And I will put a caveat before you get back in there, David. I put a caveat is that it was between the Trump and the couch, not Biden before. I didn't really care for Biden or Trump when it came to two old white guys again. That was my issue. And now let me put a caveat. Those of you who don't watch the show all the time, don't know, weren't here for the last conversation, is that we were undecided. We have moved towards the left in the sense that I am more drawn towards Kamala as a female spirit coming into the White House and cleansing all that old white dude crap out of there, both sides of the aisle. And she's young, she's vibrant, she's sure, she's full of vigor. So let me put that out there that I am not arguing with Brother David. But for those of you that have not talked to folks like I have, that are still on the fence, are still confused, between most of my viewers, David, are choosing the couch or Kamala. I don't have that many that are really leaning towards Trump. Just to put that out there.
okay. Look, Kareem, this is how I view politics in general. First, in this year, I want to protect this democracy. And I think there's only one way to vote if that's what you want to do, is protect this democracy. Secondly, in general, what I most care about with a candidate for the presidency of the United States is one thing. What will that president put their signature on? Because that's the only thing that matters. It is what becomes the law. It becomes what we have to live under. So I think carefully about all of the issues that I care about and decide which candidate most aligns with how I think, how I'd like to see the future, how I'd like to see us interact as a society with each other. I choose the candidate I think will put their signature on legislation that most aligns with my values and my beliefs.
Okay. Well,
let me say this as well, Kareem. Every person should consider that when they're making a decision about their candidates. Another point I'd like to make is something you said earlier about politics is what made us leave. Politics is everything. Politics affects you whether you want it to or not. Politics dictates why it is you chose to move. Politics is why it is you choose to do anything you do. What's in your interest? What are your values? What are your belief systems? What is in your personal private interest? And that's what motivates you. So politics affects you no matter whether, notwithstanding your not wanting to be involved in politics. It absolutely impacts you in everything you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, well, the thing is, I was saying exactly was that yes, they are politics is everything, and I think a lot of folks don't realize that. Because folks do ask me why I talk a lot of politics, especially people that are not in America. Um, and I do think that at the end of the day, I vote for the person that I think is best and will put things into. I get that, but I do also, in the sense, if when it was between Biden and Trump and the couch, um, I do. I was sick of both parties, David. We've talked about this before. I was sick of both parties. I saw it pretty much. I'm just going back historically to bring folks up to speed before David Hailey jumps in here. I do think cool. I can relate. People that know who Trump is. They forgot that black folks. We've been rolling with Trump for decades before he became president. So it wasn't as if I didn't know, and all of a sudden I just met him in politics. So I wasn't as against him. Just like I always say, a lot of dudes, just like Trump and Biden's age, that are white, a lot of them are racist or whatever, or been racist, or got cousins that are racist. So you are removed when you're dealing with either one of those guys. So that was my issue. And then my other issue and I'm going to get into the whole expat thing. My other issue was about the fact that I don't believe that I need to give any of those guys credit for giving me human rights. So I understand the whole drinking from the fountains, immigration. I understand that we could eat in restaurants. CRT and all of that since I was 8 years old and been all over the world, just like you have. Credit to a party who's talked to their cousins and uncles and grand over the world to a point where they're almost even or they're getting even. So when I went into that about Democrats and Republicans, I look at how I feel that they're going to relate and how they're going to push towards international people, other presidents, other dictators. And a lot of black men like that Trump was a stronger looking, seeming, aggressive person, albeit negative, or most of it negative, than Biden. But I do understand now that, yes, I'm an expat. It's all politics. So we get into it a lot because a lot of the issues that we have, whether they're passport bros or whoever, it's politics. They may not realize it, which is why I'm setting you up, David, so they can understand why I've made my decision. Is it at the end of the day, a lot of the issues that they're frustrated about that we do talk about, like, whether it's affirmative action, whether it's diversity, whether it's jobs, business, leaving your job, getting out of America, 10 steps of freedom. A lot of those things are because of bad politics or outdated politics. So I agree with you, David, picking the right person. But a lot of folks that do seemingly watch my show, we're pushing 1 million almost views on my Trump content. Crazy enough, David, crazy enough. So a lot of folks are watching that are in between, I think. His commercial got over 500,000 views when we first debuted that. A lot are confused because they really don't agree or like or support the Democrats. So sorry for the long setup there, David. But so folks that feel that way, not saying that they're supposed to do this or supposed to do that, or it's a no-brainer, specifically, why, if you take out of the equation, David, just for 5 minutes, right, that I'm supposed to support the Democrats, not Kamala. We're not even get to Kamala yet, right? But to support the Democrats or the Republicans for that matter. because they gave me human rights. The Republicans freed the slaves. Okay. The Democrats allowed it to where I can get a job or do business or be here in the field. Okay. We agree that it's all politics. But besides the things that are owed to us as being God's children on this earth, why should I vote for Democrats?
I'm going to answer that question in two ways. One, as a Black man and living in America, when compared to Republicans since 1964, Democrats have at least had a seat at their table for Black people. And on occasion, there have been policies that have been enacted into law that have benefited Black people. They have actually sometimes pursued and sometimes with success policies that have had a positive impact on the health, wealth, and long-term prospects of Black people. Are they always successful? No. More successful than I'd hope? No. But what I've noticed since 1964, Republicans have run on the notion that Black people in America are the other. And the proof of that for me, or the evidence of that for me, is when I look at the two conventions of each of those parties. And in every instance, since 1964, one is a vast sea of white faces, a vast sea of white faces with policies that have, in the main, not been aligned with my interests. I look at the other convention and I see perhaps not as many as I'd like, but lots of others, Black, Hispanic, Native American, Asian American, just a vast sea of different kinds of faces. And the most recent conventions in both of those parties confirmed what I've seen for the last 60 years. White folks are the vast, overwhelming 95% present in the Republican Party conventions. And the policies they've stood up for or championed or included in their platform have not been things I'd like to support. Whereas in the other one, some of those policies have been policies I support. It's all about the signature for me. The signature.
Okay. You know, I agree with you. I agree with you, brother. That's a good point. Is it the Democratic Party has brought more of us in? I don't really. Where I'm pushing against it, David, is it allowed us to be part of it? I mean, what do you mean? I joined the Republican Party. No one denied me to join the Republican Party. I'm not
allowed.
I'm sorry.
I don't think I said allowed, and if I did, I don't mean to say allowed because there's a lot of
Well,
blood, sweat, and tears
a
and death.
massive seed. I know what you mean. Especially if you look in the, it's
I don't mean to suggest that the Democrats have allowed us to have that seat at the table. We have fought
I agree with you.
and
I mean,
died.
I kind of that's like I agree with you. I agree with you. There's more of us there. They've allowed us to be in there. They're seemingly more inclusive. But then, of course, now the Republicans are becoming more inclusive, right? So I maybe in
Since when?
time.
Since when?
Meaning, I'm just saying now, a lot of minorities, blacks, men, whoever are leaning towards them. I'm not saying that it's working. I'm just saying that we're pushing that way because if I want to, the reason I'm saying that is that if I recall, it wasn't like we didn't fight to be in the Democratic Party either. It wasn't like we didn't fight to win in these political seats either. Even though we were in the Democratic Party, and historically, I don't know the reason it switched. There's all kind of stories, the reason why, but as I've heard, including right now with Kamala, she is the first female. She's fighting to be the first female. It's not like either party doesn't give us an easy way in. Yeah. Sorry, I'm breaking up. But what I'm saying is that I think that at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I don't like to give credit for us having to work 2, 3, 4 times as hard to get in anything, whether it's Democratic or Republican. That's all I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with the diversity thing, and yeah, but if we could also then break into the Republican Party and shake it up too.
That's an easy thing to do. That's an easy thing to do to break into the Republican Party. Here's a thought. How about enacting policies that Black people say they support? It's an easy ask. It's an easy thing to do. We've been asking for it for, I don't know, 400 years. It's easy. Express an interest in enacting policy that Black people say they support. We're no different than anyone else in this country. We want to see the same things for our families, for our children, for our futures, for our health, for our financial security. There's no difference. The only difference is, or if there is a difference, it's opposition to those things for us to either have as a dream, because some people don't believe we should have it, or some people think it's an encroachment, or you're encroaching upon mine. If you have something, that means I'm losing.
Yeah.
It's not that, but that's how people think.
I'm going to let David Hailey get. No, I'm not taking a break. No need. Yeah, David, if you're out there, we just saw you in the back of the room. We're not going to go on a break. I want to go straight through this conversation. Yeah, David's back here now. Youngblood, I'm going to bring David Hailey in and let him answer the same question that I asked you. Brother David Hailey, I welcome you, Senator. Thank you for being here. I know that you just got done doing a call with Obama and Roland Martin, and you came in after your dinner. You got your clothes back on and got back in the mood, or whatever. I'm glad you're here, brother. Thank you. How's the sound doing? Come on, we listen to you, David. You ready to talk? Say hello. We can see you, brother. Where did Youngblood go? Where'd he go? Yeah, I think. Yeah, bring me back there. There he is. There we go. How you doing, Brother Hailey? I appreciate it. But young blood, let me while he's figuring out what to say. You guys just tune in. You guys, we've got a whole couple of guys here. You guys right now. I'm going to get some information, and you guys, we painted a pretty sharp picture of the crossroads. Why it's a big deal to us. There's 10 million of us out here in the expat streets, and we vote. So the Democrats have been fundraising muscle, and they got star power. Americans, particularly black men, communities who haven't been their priorities represented, but now somehow the Republican Party is pushing into it, which is surprising, actually. These reasons are all complex, but it's pretty clear. So I brought in David Youngblood and David Hailey to have this conversation. We lost David Youngblood. I mean, hey, that's what I'm seeing. Okay, David Youngblood. We're trying to get David Hailey back. You know, he's okay. Okay, he's having an internet issue out there in Kansas. So we apologize. But let's bring Hailey back in here again. Let's try one more again. And you guys, I got some questions, some issues. So we're getting to those. You guys watching this, got you here. The first one people are asking about, you guys, and I'll ask you, Youngblood, since you're already here. The first thing that they've got me to ask about, they've got some questions for people that are watching. The first one, is it appealing to tradition and conservative values? A lot of folks are leaning towards the Republican Party because of that issue. I think I hear Hailey. Is that what I'm hearing? We keep on talking, Hailey. Keep on talking. When we hear you, we'll bring you in. Youngblood, they appeal to tradition and conservative values, I think. For many black men and minorities like myself, conservatism, which I never consider myself conservative, with my lifestyle and how I live and how I like to have a good time, and I've always done that. But now it seems like the left is going so far left, even guys like me can align myself with values of family, faith, self-sufficiency, emphasis on traditional lifestyles. Not saying that it's, non-whatever lifestyles, but traditional. What do you think about that, Youngblood? What do you think?
Oh, I think I think that is hogwash, actually. I think that is complete hogwash. What has transpired is that the left has allowed the right to suggest that their values as, quote, conservatives, unquote, are somehow better, different, more, wholesome, when in fact it's not true at all. What they've done or been able to do is win the language contest or messaging contest. I am aware of and know people who are very progressive, who have really great values. They care for their neighbors. They care for their country. They care for each other. They care about schools and nuclear weapons and the environment and women's right to choose how to govern their own bodies. These are values and concerns conservatives have as well. Now, we might have different views about where we'd like to see that policy go, but they've won the messaging war about being conservative, as if that's some kind of superior view of life or existing in a world, and it's not.
But don't you think that, let me give you an example. You know that recently I had a whole post that was very popular actually about the whole Trump saying he's going to give expats like me no double taxation. what is so hard? This is totally off cuff a little bit from what we were talking about, but I think I see. I'm really tired of the division, and why can't Trump, for example, and Harris get together and create something, or both parties get together and create something, or Kamala, for example, get together and just, okay, if everything he does, Kamala, you do it 10 times better. So that we're not back and forth. Like, why is, for example, I know that there's women's rights. I know the things you mentioned, but just something that doesn't that everybody, if you have a passport. Why just can't the Democrats, okay, I'm gonna give the same thing, no double taxation. Why is it always you have to choose one or the other for all Americans? Why can't they just, and I mean them, I mean to pretty much white-led parties, agree on basic stuff? It might be a question for Haley when he gets back on here, but why do you think that?
Senator, are you there?
Is there any audio? There's no audio.
Yes, yes, I hear you.
So why don't you answer that question for me, Brother Haley? Welcome to you, Senator Haley. I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much. We got you.
Can you? I can't hear you. So I see by the thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you. But I can't hear. I'm not hearing anything. So
why can't you agree on stuff? Why can't the Democrats?
I don't know how to. I can see you both very clearly. Glad to be a part of the discussion, except I can't hear anything at all.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Are you on mute, maybe? Because we can hear him. Turn that volume. Turn the volume. Tell the chat to turn the volume up, maybe.
I think this happened to us before, and there was something corrected from that end that brought me through. Though I am technologically challenged, I mean, I should say that that's part of it. But not to dismiss that obvious shortcoming. But I don't know what I can do by way of increasing the audio that I could hear and be a part of it. It seems like a very good dialogue, though, from the two, looking at both of you. It's been like an interesting, the pantomime has been good. It's been excellent.
Turn up.
Yeah,
I
hope we can see this question. You see that? The pantomime. Mainly, we can ask him. We're asking Senator, you guys, about why can they? He's a Democrat, obviously from Kansas, but mind you, Kansas is a Republican state, so he's one of the few Democrats in office there at his level. But why can they not agree, Youngblood? What is that about? Why does it have to
listen?
All Americans, why can't they agree on basic stuff?
People are running for office on platforms, on agreed platforms put on by committees of the party. And so that wasn't in the Democratic platform. But here's an interesting point to be made about that. Kamala Harris has said two things. I'm going to appoint a Republican to my cabinet. And two, if there's a good idea, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. If it's a good idea, let's talk about it. If we can agree on it, let's enact it into law. She is not opposed to Republican policies just because they are Republican policies. If they are aligned with her views and those of the Democrats, and we can find a happy medium, by all means, she is willing to do that. She is not an ideologue. She wants to get things done. Yeah. Can you hear me, Kareem? You look like you're frozen.
Is he hearing us? I guess he's not hearing us yet. Um,
Okay.
Youngblood, I
So I
appreciate
see
that.
that the host unmuted my mic. I'm still not hearing.
Okay.
Let me see. I'm not a host. Can you hear me, Senator?
Yeah, he's not hearing us at all. I think he's probably got to if you're not hearing us, obviously, but if you're not hearing us, you might say that it's on his end. Okay. He's chatting you in the lobby there. If you got, they're chatting you. But Youngblood, I agree with what you're saying, and I understand it. But I'm saying for guys like me, the issue with politics, the issues with Democrats and Republicans is becoming the divide and the fact that they can't agree on basic stuff. Even the migrant crisis, you guys. The Republicans, Democrats can't even agree on the migrant crisis. And it's exhausting because we spend more time trying to understand and figure out what's going on than we actually do on living or doing the things that we eventually do get into office now, for example. And I think that's part of the issue. And I don't know why that issue exists. But I think like the migrant crisis, watching American community struggle, and all of those things, it's a big deal.
You know, there's been a so-called migrant crisis for decades. And every so often, we make attempts to fix it. Most recently, we had a bill agreed upon by both Democrats and Republicans. At least during the negotiations phase, they did come to agreements on the different portions of the bill. They then said, let's vote on this. And lo and behold, our former president said, no, you cannot vote on this bill because I want to run my campaign on that issue. So no, do not vote on that bill. Do not bring that bill up for a vote. Let's run on that during the election. So there have been attempts, even in years past when Marco Rubio led an effort to fix the immigration system. Marco Rubio did that and did a fairly decent job until he himself decided, I cannot get reelected if I continue down this path. And so he abandoned it.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why we can't hear that from directly from the horse's mouth who's there. I hate that we can't hear us. I'm trying to give him a call real quick. His phone might go out. Trying to call. 'Cause I want to hear from Senator Hailey here.
Right. So do I.
Yes, sir. I hear you. Are you?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, sir. I know that you cannot, for some reason, hear us on the show, so I've got my phone to the microphone, looking very ghetto right now.
That's all right. Whatever works. These are challenging times. These are the times we have to make things. However, I'm unable to see the video now.
Yeah.
While I'm on this particular one, but I can hear you loud and clear. And I don't know what happened, or if it's on my end with my inadequate equipment here. But I apologize. It looks as if you've been having a lively discussion, and I wish I could tap in and know some of what's been said that I might add to the dialogue or the trialogue.
Well, I'm going to ask you real quick, and then I'm going to have him try to get you back on air while we do it, but so people can hear what you were saying. What we were asking you, actually, that you didn't hear us, so we were asking pretty much, why should someone like me, why should anyone, why should everyone vote Democrat for Kamala Harris this time, especially? And the other thing is, why is it that we're so divided, and why do we not have a way for Democrats and Republicans to just agree and to move for things that are best for all the American people, so there's not this divide and we have to choose between one or the other? I want to get a free double taxation, like Trump wants to give, but then I also want to be able to let my sisters, who I have all sisters, have control of their bodies. Why I got to choose Republican or Democrat to be able to get both of those things? What's your opinion, sir?
That's very, that's a heavy question.
It was an hour in the making, Brother David. It was an hour in the making. So
maybe I've been muted for a specific reason, because that, of course, is that's a complex question, and the answer is not to be easily found. I know that perhaps Mr. Youngblood may have already given the exact answer, and I just was not able to discern it due to our challenges. But of course, there's always been a partisan divide. I mean, the values that come that are linked to different parties or that are ascribed to them, by and large, are what make the parties distinct and draw their various constituencies. I mean, you've tried to frame Republicans as being better for our tax structure, and Democrats being better for our bodily autonomy and independence, just in those two examples. But I think it's more complex than that. It definitely is more complex, because the issues do overlap in many ways. The discussion of the ability to make one's choice in a free and open society, in many ways, can be ascribed to more so to one party, the Democratic Party. However, certainly Republicans have their areas too. I mean, when you talk about gun rights, for example, or the ability to decide where public school funding goes, in terms of that way, is that not codified for expression or choice, or being safe in one's own possession, or one's own possession, or one's own liberty? And to the converse, are not Democrats the first to say there should be a certain societal contribution to one's general welfare, for health insurance, for example? And is that not counter to working hard, playing by the rules, and getting a tax assistance or some tax assistance by having your health care covered, or having certain measures that we're all? So I don't know. You ask a very complex question, because I don't think there is an easy answer to that. And to your last point, and I'm going on and on because you bottled me up here. I was bottled up for the better part of an hour and to get an opportunity to weigh in. So now, I'm so excited to do so while you have.
Go ahead. We've been waiting for you to respond. So we're listening.
But why we all can't come together and see where we stand. But we're not a monolithic people. Black folk aren't monolithic people. And so often we think that we can paint ourselves with one broad brush, but as we've seen, we've been drawn into different quadrants, corners, that are as complex as the entirety of our American society. And I think that's good in many ways, but there is no Black nationalist party that's going to hold true to all the values and be what's in the better or best interests of Black folk, because Black folks can't agree in many cases as to which way we should go to.
Yeah, I got you. I'm listening to you. I'm just trying to, and I what I meant was not even Black folks. I meant, like, why is it that Americans can't just come together on basic stuff? it feels like I'm supposed to vote for Democrats and understand everything just because I get human rights or anyone gets human rights. I should do this or do that. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if you didn't hear me before, I'm sure, but if you can hear me now, the reason that I'm even thinking about it and doing situations and voting for these people, to be honest, I was looking more at the couch before when it was Biden and Trump. Now I'm looking because honestly, and I know this sounds very ignorant and very shallow of me, but I really want to see, I want to give a woman a chance. Women have been pushing and the backbone, and I know a lot of Christians believe that women should not be empowered, and they say it's in the Bible. But either way, I believe that, okay, well, maybe they're not going to lead men as the Bible says they shouldn't. That's what I've been told on my show, y'all. And I'm just saying that's what they're telling me. I don't necessarily believe that, but that's what it says. But the point is that then give these dudes a break. Let the woman walk in and calm things down, chill things out, and give us some laughter, some joy back in the White House for a while. That's why I've been looking at her. So another confounded long question, Brother Hailey, but why do you think that I should vote for Kamala Harris?
Well, I mean, it depends how you feel about the direction of our country, of America, and our position in the world. I mean, and are we? You know, I think that there've been clear distinctions between how Kamala Harris represents and how Donald Trump represents. And frankly, I mean, not to demean him, but his followers would tell you that he is, you know, he's not scripted, he's bombastic, he's antagonistic, and he has a go it alone, my way or the highway a way of conducting himself that I and many millions of people feel does not paint the best picture for what leadership looks like in terms of civility or interactivity or how we conduct ourselves as a world leader and how we're viewed by the rest of the world. In fact, how we're viewed by the majority of Americans. If we were a true democracy, the popular vote would overwhelmingly reflect Kamala Harris. We can agree on that. The only thing that has us hung up, that has us, is this weird, crazy game called the Electoral College, which ascribes less than one person, one vote to a few states that even puts this matrix in play. In a pure democracy, it wouldn't even be a question that we could all agree on. That the civility, the intellect, the demeanor, the carriage of the office of President of the United States is better reflected in that which Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, I mean, and historically, I mean, that everyone else has ever brought to it before, prior to Mr. Trump. You know, I mean, he's an anomaly, and there are many who are drawn by that. You know, so much so that they're oxymorons, Kareem. I mean, and what I mean by that is they vote against for their own best interests because it's like a sideshow. They can't turn away. It's like they're just it's a con that's being perpetrated on them, but they're so gullible in looking at him because he's a great carnival barker. Mr. Trump is, and he's probably the greatest con man of all time. He has worked his way up to be the leader, but for the majority of people that view him, not just Americans, but the rest of the world, we don't understand how this distinct minority could be so gullible and so, you know, so drawn in by this shiny object, the shiny orange object, that we would suspend a reality. We don't care what the truth is. They don't anymore. They don't care, you know, that they'll buy any lie. They don't care what honesty and civility and playing by the rules. You know, they talk about different sectors. I have some friends who are in the military, Kareem, and the fact that Mr. Trump, has seen those who are in the military as, quote, suckers and losers, and has said that time and again, doesn't seem to disturb them, and they'll still. I mean, I don't understand this oxymoronic approach.
Yeah.
I didn't answer your question except to say it's a clear choice between who you see yourself as a person and how you conduct yourself, and do you practice what you preach in your self analysis, or can you be? Which is why, if you do, we're drawn to Kamala Harris. We're drawn to and her policies.
Mm-hmm.
And to the contrary, what Mr. Trump or how he conducts himself, it's just not who I am. I was brought up differently. You know, I came up civilly. I didn't come up out of whatever it is he is. And most people haven't either. It's disrespectful. It's obscene, actually.
Well, Brother Hailey, I'm going to try to bring you right back on with Julius, because I wanted to see if we can get you in this conversation with David Youngblood. I'm going to bring David Youngblood back into what you're going to do. I got to exit off of this, and so I want Julius to try again. So I'm going to hang up on the voice call. I'm going to talk to David, but try to call back in or message him. Okay, so we can try one more time to get your voice. You can talk and have a conversation with David Youngblood about this. But I'm going to relate what he obviously heard. He can hear you because you said the same thing as him, that it's a clear choice. So, but we're going to try to get you back on the show. And I'll be right back in 1 second, you guys. Okay, Brother David? Hey, Haley?
Okay. Oh,
All
absolutely.
right. Yeah. Let's try to get you back on. Let's pay some bills. Let's pay bills real quick, and we'll come right back, you guys. Thanks for being here, you guys. Kareem Jackson live on the set. Brother David Hailey, Senator David Hailey, you guys, I want to hear this. I know that a lot of you guys, I'm getting to your comments. I apologize for this back and forth, this left and right, this whole situation. Tech difficulties, but one's in DC, one's in Kansas, and one's in the Philippines, y'all. So we're talking to expats, black men, and all over America, because a lot of you guys, and minorities too, a lot of the there's white folks who watch the show too that are asking. There's expats. I've got Filipinos who are American citizens, Philippines, who are watching the show. They want to know where should they put their absentee ballots here in the Philippines. Military folks, retirees in the Philippines that are watching this and want to know. So you guys, let's pay some bills really quick. Let's and I'll be right back, you guys. Grab a snack, you guys. Refill your coffee cups and get some more black wellness and come on back.
Good time, people. You're live on the set with Kareem Jackson. Go grab a snack and come on back.
Hey, you guys, Kareem Jackson live on the set, and you are at the studio, baby. And guess where we're at? We're in the Philippines, man. We're in Manila. We are live on the set, the studio, home of all of my fabulous shows. Kareem Jackson live on the set. We got Freedom Daily. We got Black LinkedIn. All of this here, you guys, and we're right here, right in the heart of the city. The studio by K & Co, you guys. Kareem Jackson live on the set. Come on in here, you guys. See what we got going on. Check us out. You guys, Black KC is here. I Love Dreadlocks is here. Outsource Everything. Entrepreneur 101 is here, you guys. All of them. Black LinkedIn. Brothers are here. We are all live on the set. This is where we help you turn your dreams into reality, you guys. We are live, and we are here to help the community and all of you. The monkey in the room, that segment you guys all love, it's right here too. And you guys have all been wondering how we do it, why we do it. And if we could help you do it, come on in. Let's help you with your podcast. Let's help you with what you're trying to do, be a guest on our show, whatever. But the studio is here, and we have catering. We have cocktails. Thank you, liquorexpress.ph. We have producers and co-producers, makeup, barbers. It's all here, you guys. Kareem Jackson live on the set at the studio in the Philippines, baby. We are in the Philippines, bitch.
In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom. The freedom not just to get by, but get ahead. The freedom to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to make decisions about your own body. We choose a future where no child lives in poverty, where we can all afford health care, where no one is above law. We believe in the promise of America and to fight for it. We fight, we win. So join us. Go to KamalaHarris.com and let's get to work.
I'ma keep on running cause a winner don't quit on themselves.
Three, 2, 1. We are live. Hello, world. Success is for everyone, baby. You're live on the set with Kareem Jackson. Yes, let's go.
Difficulties not on my end, but the U.S. Senate needs to work on the speakers and the microphones and things like that. But you guys, at least you're giving me information. We're answering your questions. I appreciate you guys asking this stuff. You guys have been asking so much. There's so many folks that watch the show. You guys are very confused. I will say one great thing is you guys, that the expat vote between Trump and us, no double taxation, which Kamala Harris could easily do. So it's not going to sway me. But I do like that we're on the map, the 10 million of us living outside the United States. But the other part of it is that the whole Kamala freedom situation, a lot of those people that are more conservative believe it's a little too much freedom. But I will agree with one thing, is that what Haley said and what David have both said is that it should be a no-brainer. But the reality is it is a brainer. We got to think about it. We're not sure. And I don't think that the brainer is not necessarily about Kamala or the Democrats or the Republicans. I think that all of them, including Biden when he was in the election, are competing with the couch. A lot of us are frustrated with the division, and we want to send a clear message to Washington, D.C. that we're tired of it. If you guys cannot come together on basic stuff, I kind of understand the whole women's body. I get that, because some people really feel strongly about that's what religion is. But I do agree that it needs to be per state. It needs to be something like that. Something that needs to be worked out. Because in the day, this is America's crossroads. We're 2 weeks out. Folks are getting ready to rush to the polls. Most of you are doing your absentee ballots. I think it ends this week. You're doing them right now. You've already had them. Some of you guys have already voted almost a month ago. So you're done already. You already had decided. And I'll tell you this too. A lot of you guys had even voted already, or thought you were voting or nominating or whatever you want to call it for Biden. So what about those folks? They can vote again. But my point of it is, America's at a crossroads, you guys. We're so sick of giving credit to people for giving all of us human rights, like freedom of your body, kind of. But I do understand that some people religiously, that's not it. So I do want people to understand also that if you're just joining us, you guys, it's been a powerful conversation. We're going to get into this more and more to the election. My special guest, U.S. Senator David Hailey, of course, the Washington, D.C. U.S. Attorney and lobbyist, David Youngblood. I appreciate you guys for being here on the show, for talking to my people a little bit and giving us some insights. The political shift, you guys, it's changing. People may not want to admit it, but the game for blacks and minority voters nationwide, and even expats, is black and non-white expats too. And there's a growing population of expats. are confused, wondering which one, because a lot of the expats, you may not think about this, especially the passport bros, they don't connect the dots of politics yet, but they're leaving because they can't find traditional relationship, traditional wives. And why is that? It's politics. They're leaving because they can't afford to be the man they want to be in America, because they can't even afford to have a single income. They can't afford to take their girl out for dinner. They can't afford it. That's politics too. So for a lot of folks that get their passports, even being able to have a passport, travel the world, and being visa free all around the world, to have the dollar to be valued at where it is around the world, it's 55 to 1 in Asia for the US dollar. Some parts of Africa, it's 100 or 200 to 1. Mexico, I think it's 4 or 5 or 6 something like that to 1. That's all politics. And with the whole BRICS and Blacksit and the whole digital currency thing, people are wondering, how long are we going to have this advantage for the US dollar? So what Trump offered rang for a lot of expats and got their attention, no matter who they vote for. Because I believe that once we're on the map, it's easy to get someone like Kamala to support that, because she is from a double immigrant family. I'm just saying. Both of her parents were not American. And mind you, both not white, like Obama. He was also from an immigrant father. Well, he wasn't even an immigrant. I think he was never in America, but his American father wasn't American either. So the connection for them might be a little bit different. They may empathize. But this whole situation you guys have hosted today, I've been very proud to do it. I really want to bring more of these. A lot of people who watch the 10 million expats, we do reach a lot of expats. And in the day, they have questions. They're wondering what's going on. What should they do? Why is it such a hard decision? And I will say this too. There's a growing number of Black and minority expats. As you know, the exodus, Black folks leaving, going to Ghana, going to the Philippines, Asia, Thailand, all over the world, Mexico, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. It's huge. It's growing. So a lot of folks, what happens is people realize, they forget. You leave because you're frustrated with the U.S. politics. You may not realize that's what it is. You may think it's lifestyle, women, whatever you might say. But even the women, the way the women are, the way that they dress, all the hoochie mama things that you guys are frustrated about, a lot of that is the conservatism that a lot of the people on the right are talking about. A lot of Black folks, older Black folks, my mother, complain about brothers walking down the street with their pants falling down, saying, pull up your pants. That's conservatism, if that's a freaking word. That's what it is. So when it comes to the situation of what you're going to vote for, how you're supposed to vote, what you're doing, a lot of it, when you leave and when you finally get the passport and you get on the plane, where you decide to go based off your passport and your visa situation is also politics. If you choose where you're going to go based off the power of the US dollar, that's also politics. And once you get on the plane and you land, whether it's Ghana or the Philippines or Thailand or Mexico for that matter, maybe not even as Mexico as much, that's great. It's politics. And once you do land, wherever you go, you start to see another way. You start to realize in some places in the world, there is zero crime rate. In some place in the world, there is no issue with divorce, suicide. Most places besides America, the food quality is high. Then you realize in most places on the world, there is no issue with one man or woman, for enough money at his job to take care of his family. He may have to budget and do things like all of us do, but it doesn't literally take two incomes. Most places on the world, their wives are at home taking care of their kids. There's no daycare. So you start seeing all this stuff and you start realizing, America, we could have stuff. The disillusionment, the growing frustration. this issue of lack of authentic online relationship, when you're feeling disconnected, the Democratic, certain voters granted push, all of that stuff flushes through your face, and you realize it's all politics. There, free healthcare. There's places where free healthcare. When you try, get your passport, you'll be blown away. There's places there's no racism, you guys. America, most of the issues that we realize when you become an expat, you get more political because you've chose to use your citizenship to get the hell off the plantation. And then you choose to send your absentee ballot, including military people. And the biggest issue that I hear out here in these expat streets, you guys, especially most people that are expat, American expats, were either retirees, investors, entrepreneurs, business people, or educators, or diplomats. There's not many employees getting their passports and leaving. You got a few more now because you can work online, you can be a digital nomad, things like that. But usually, even many of those are 1099 people. They're professionals, they're self-employed. So your perspective is different. And if whether you identified with David Youngblood or David Hailey, their arguments are serious. They're true. The Democrats look pretty good. And I don't know how the Democrats come back to the middle. There's so many issues in America. For example, I'm in Asia. Lady boys, gays, trans, all that are everywhere. There's no issue. They don't need to have 2 bathrooms, 3 bathrooms, 4 bathrooms. They don't need to have hate crime bills. I'm black, I'm in Asia. I don't need a hate crime bill to protect me in this country. Like Asians need a hate crime bill to protect them in America, and black folks are wishing they had one for themselves. Not even an issue. I've had dreadlocks on my shows. I've had short hair, black hair. You see my little color popping. I got a little dark color. You see that? I took out the gray a little bit today. I don't need a Crown Act. If you've been watching the show for a long time, you remember a couple years ago, everybody on my team had dreadlocks. Everybody. Nobody needed a Crown Act. I don't walk into the Marriott, McDonald's, corporate, or any of these sponsors you see with my dreadlocks outside of America and have to worry about discrimination because of my hair or my skin color. When you travel, you realize all of that crap is just politics. You realize you don't need to worry about health care because if you're in the Philippines, if you remember Duterte, remember him? Y'all hated him a lot. Y'all didn't like Duterte. But one, he defended Black Americans. We had a whole clip about it and how they were shooting us in the streets. He defended us. Hey. And you know what? He double taxed McDonald's, Burger King, Tang, Starbucks. He double taxed bad diet choices. It's more to go to McDonald's in the Philippines and to buy a week of groceries for your house. You gon' pay to kill yourself because they don't want to pay for all Filipinos with cancer and gout and diabetes. They don't want to pay. You know why? Because they have, I don't know what they call it, but they got kind of a central healthcare system in the Philippines. I don't know what, I'm not a citizen in the Philippines, so I don't know, but I know I got staff and they can go right to the hospital and deliver their baby. There's no complications. They're not worried about if she gonna die. And you know what? It's free. My company didn't have to pay for it. We bought little diapers and stuff. We bought some little outfits, but it wasn't a healthcare issue. So the issue that we're even in the richest country on earth the richest black community of people, black Americans on earth, and we're fighting for health care. We're arguing over why black women die in birth. We're talking about the risk of childbirth, the richest country on earth. But the Republicans, Trump, those places you call shithole countries, I cussed, but it was a quote. I cussed, but it was a quote. Can't change the quote. That's what he said. They're not worried about those things. I know people in the Philippines with cancer, free health care and medication for cancer. But you know what they do? They tax Burger King. They tax Tang. They tax sugar. They know what causes it, and they tell them what causes it. You see why we got the coffee sponsor, why the Black Woman is Coffee. The whole reason we have it is to support Filipino farmers to make a choice to buy their own products as opposed to our crap. Because we know 3-in-1's killing you. We know Starbucks is killing you. And in the Philippines, they double tax. You know how you hear Trump say tariffs? They put tariffs, I don't know if that's what it's called, but they put tariffs on these products that kill people. Cigarettes, oh my God. They shut down companies in the Philippines with cigarettes. And if you want to smoke in the Philippines, it's ×7 tariff. If it's $1, it's $7 if you want to smoke and kill yourself. But if you get cancer, hey, they got paid. You paid it. You paid ahead of time for your cancer treatment. So you got free medication. You got free chemotherapy. If you want to drink this, you pay 7 times. Because when you read the back of this, the first ingredient is not coffee, it's sugar. The last ingredient isn't even coffee, it's instant coffee. You pay 7%. When you drink this, Blondes coffee, you can buy it from the farm. You can buy it from us. You go to PhilippinesMagazine.com, buy it. It's $3, $4 for the whole jar right here. Buy right here, the PhilippinesMagazine.com. Buy it from us. It's $3 or $4 for a whole quarter kilo. This right here is going to cost you. This right here, the real stuff from the farm, it's cheap, fresh, organic. And you realize after a while that it's products. Sorry, here you go. Here you go. It's products. And you learn that in America, my country that I love to death, you can't farm. I can't ship this to the United States unless it's not in seed form. You know that? They block it because they don't want you having the seeds. That's all politics. The chicken issue. In the Philippines, if you go to McDonald's, it costs you $8 for egg McMuffin. But you know what? In the Philippines, a real egg from the farm, 5 cents. A flat rack. Was that 12? 2 dozen? Was that 24 eggs? The little flat board thing? Y'all, it's not even $5. It's $3.50, $4. It's $5 for the big, huge, grandiose ones. Remember, you can choose small, medium, large. We don't even have that choice. I mean, grade A, grade whatever the hell. It's $3.50. But you're gonna pay $3.50 at McDonald's for the same egg McMuffin meal because it's gonna kill you, and they know it. It's all politics. And when you travel and become an expat, you start to realize that that's what it is. You start realizing that there's no retirement homes in Asia, you guys. Very, very few. And if they do have them, they're pretty much high end. It's mainly for like literally a retirement home. It's not like everybody got into assisted living home. They stay with their family. And America's just now in politics talking about compensating families for Social Security, take care of their aging parents and grandparents. Just now with Kamala Harris in 2024. Sorry, you guys, they have a legal note for me that the increase is 14%. They increased the cost of buying those sugary things 14% this year. Forget inflation. And you know what? Eggs didn't increase at all. Rice didn't increase at all. Very little. Inflation it's not a thing in the Philippines. Property, things like that. Yeah, but that's not really inflation. That's because it's developing. You bought the property, nothing was there. You see that right there, y'all. And you know why they did that? Because they don't want people coming in here feeding Filipinos crap. Another thing that you guys all agree with that I, as a black man, American black man, respected and wished that they did it for us in America back when we were cracked out. We lost all of our stars off drug addiction. Prince, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston's daughter. Not to mention all the white artists, housewives, regular people that were just cracked out. And now the prescription drug situation. But when they had, I won't say where it was coming from because everybody watches my show. But when they had another country in Asia getting drugs to the Philippines and getting them addicted to drugs in the Philippines, Duterte, yes, he sure did, said shoot on. If you gonna be he said, and you know what? I know multiple staff, friends, associates. That's when they got clean. They didn't need no rehabilitation. They didn't need no hospitals. They stayed their ass in the house and got clean, or they left, they were gonna get shot. They gained some damn weight. Because they would just look if you look like an addict. Remember, this was crack. And Duterte, you can hate him if you want. But in America, we know they're going to die anyway. We know. They wiped out hundreds of thousands of black folks during the crack pandemic, put hundreds of thousands in jail during the crack pandemic. And now they're affecting white folks. Now we're paying attention. And you may hate how aggressive, but Filipinos stood up for their people against an outside. There's no Filipinos chemists running around. They just like black folks. Ain't no black folks making crack. They were just using crack. They were victims. Politics. And in those countries, politics are for them. Filipinos are in politics. America, it's America, Black America, white America, right America, left America, Central America, trans America. It's so many Americas that there is no unity. And that's what we're tired of, you guys. Nobody's back there, right? I'm sorry, I'm talking about that. Let me close this out really quick. You bring David Youngblood in. I'm sorry, David. They're telling me you're back there. What do you think, David? You think I'm out of my mind? I know you think I'm out. It's a bunch of hogwash. I know that's what you're going to say.
Yeah, well, yeah, much of it is. And I'll tell you why, or why I think it is. Let's just address the most immediate thing the past thing that you related with respect to the drugs and curing that problem, and that you did not mention the 15,000 Filipinos who were shot on the street and lines put on their bodies, nor did you mention that some of those people were in fact not drug users, or that they were just political enemies of someone in power, or they were just a neighbor who was mad at another neighbor. You don't you address it as if there was a problem and we took care of it, and there were no ramifications to that, and families impacted by that, because there were many whose relative was not a drug abuser, was not in doing anything against the law, but assassinated, actually, and a sign tossed on their dead body, bleeding in the streets. You didn't mention that. The other thing that you mentioned was about, and now it's escaping my
I've seen a few of the bodies.
memory.
I saw bodies on the side of the street. I was covering the story live at that time. But what I'm saying is, brother, and I'm sorry to cut you off. What I'm saying is not necessarily specifics. What I'm saying is that it's all politics. I'm just explaining in the sense of how I relate it to there's different ways to handle situations. And in other countries, they handle things not perfectly because a lot of folks are also in jail illegally in America. A lot of folks also were put on drugs in America. The same problem. But what I'm saying is that it all is politics. And the travel.
I absolutely agree that it is politics, and like I said in the prior segment, look, everything is politics. Deciding on when to eat is politics. It's what's in your best interest. Whether you go, to the bathroom right now or in 15 minutes is what's in your best interest. I also wanted to comment on the notion of the healthcare system in America and your comments about that. I also know that in the Philippines, if you don't have cash, you're going to have a very difficult time getting treatment for some conditions. Now, you said cancer is treated free. No, from my experience, if you are an ordinary Filipino who works a construction job, if you go to a hospital, you will not be treated unless you have money to pay for that treatment, notwithstanding you being on Philippine Health. That's just not something that's available to the ordinary Filipino. At least the best care is not available for you, or anywhere near the best care.
Hospital, but you have to go to a public hospital. That's it. And it's not really about the argument of which is right, and it's not definitely not the best care.
Okay.
Even if you have money in some countries, you don't get the best. What I'm saying is, it wasn't an argument about the Philippines. They go to a public hospital, wait in line for 15 hours, but they can get served in Canada. But my point is that we started working or not working outside of America to know that it's possible. It's just a country on earth. That's what I'm saying. You learn that it's political because you're like, well, why can these guys get help or get a baby, remember, for free, give birth, and it's safe?
Look, I absolutely agree with you on that. I absolutely agree with you that there's
other. I'm sorry. Go ahead, David.
Look, I agree with you that it makes absolutely no sense for us not to have, in my mind, a universal healthcare system such that every American born in America, living in America, producing in America, working in America, attending school in America, being an American, you should have access to healthcare. You should have access to healthcare. There's no reason why we should not.
80%,
but you
with healthcare is because of things from America, our food, our environment. That's what it's. It's like we should have it. So, but my point is, I'm not disagreeing with you, brother David. My point is, I'm just saying when you travel, you see that that's all political because other countries that are less fortunate, supposedly, than America is, they take care of their people. That's all I'm trying to say. So you learn that it's all political when you travel, because you see a lot of the arguments that we make in America are political, or either it started politically or it started environmentally. Um, but I'm gonna let you go. I know it's late there. I appreciate it. One last thing that they're bugging me to ask you about, and I've already asked Haley about it, but I didn't get to you about it, was how do you feel, or what do you feel about the migrant crisis? Now, remember, I'm an expat, so I can't talk much. But that was a question that was here earlier about the migrant crisis, and that's a big divide between Trump's and, as you use, Harris. What do you feel about the migrant crisis situation? How should they? Why should someone vote Democrat? And what should they feel about the migrant crisis?
Well, I would be opposed to the Trump solution to the problem for obvious reasons. At least for me, these are obvious reasons. His policy, as he has indicated, is going to be mass deportations. Can you imagine what that would look like? Your neighbor, your school buddy, the parents of your schoolmate, the, workers at your local grocery store or restaurant or entertainment center, wherever. Can you imagine what that would look like with police officers raiding homes in the middle of the night, dragging people out of their homes with their children there? The truth is, you can't imagine it. You don't have to imagine it. It's happened before. It's happened before.
Can I ask a question before you go forward with that? Can I ask you one question, David? This is a very neutral question. Aren't most illegal aliens in America white? Besides the recent, like in the last migration that they've had, the borders and things like, and I don't mean Mexicans. I mean most of the people that are in the United States that they know about, white.
No,
like
the majority
European
of
immigrants.
No, well, I don't know. I don't know that to be true. I don't know that to be true. But I tend to doubt that that's true. I tend to doubt that that is true.
They come for school, they come for Disneyland, they come for vacation, never return back to Germany, Canada. They never return. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, there are examples of that, and there are lots of examples of that, but there aren't millions of undocumented Europeans in America. Well, and probably for the most part because they can get legal entry to the U.S. The people having the most difficult, that not just they can blend, but they can come in under the rules set up that allows every country or most countries a certain amount of visas to immigrate. Well, the people who have the most difficulty getting those visas, those entry visas, are Haitians, Filipinos, Mexicans, Guatemalans, Hondurans, Nicaraguans, anybody who's desperate to leave, they're going to have a very difficult time leaving and getting entry visas to the U.S. A person from Sweden is not going to have a difficult time immigrating to the U.S. because they're from Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not this sense of desperation. There's not this sense of economic need. They're not fleeing. They're not fleeing a despotic government. They're not fleeing a war-torn area. They're not fleeing a dictator. anywhere that there's difficult economic circumstances, Honduras, Nicaragua, these kinds of places, some of the African countries, most of the African countries, they're going to have a difficult time, or more difficult time than anybody from Europe. But I wanted to also challenge this notion. Let me also challenge this notion of alien. Alien is out of space. These are human beings fleeing situations that are more often than not economic, particularly if they're coming from Mexico. They're fleeing economic circumstances and just looking for, quote, a better life, unquote. Well, that's not why we grant visas, because you're looking for a better life. If that were the case, a lot of people from a lot of places all over the world would immigrate to the United States. And that's not why we grant visas.
Okay. I will say this, though, as a Black American who has fled America for a little better life in Asia because of poor politics, I empathize. But I do want to just acknowledge, I just want to acknowledge that people that are watching, that all these illegals that they're talking about in America are not Mexican and Black. There's many, at least 50% are white.
Absolutely.
And so the hope, if Trump does come to power and does the max deportation, that he remembers that there's Swedes too. There's Germans too. And so if I see as many white folks in on those planes as brown and Black people, okay. But my point is that they wouldn't do that. So if it's fair, I don't really care. And the other thing, David, they're asking me before I let you go. I'm sorry. One last thing to ask before you let you go. We had got into it, but brought on Hailey. We didn't really finish about the main reason a lot of Blacks and men and other people for that matter, but specifically a lot of Black men are leaning towards the right a little bit, not much, but it's leaning towards right without even knowing it, is because they're searching for traditional relationships, traditional love, traditional lifestyles, single family income, homes, and things like that. And that in America, that seems like a conservative dream nowadays. So what do you say about that situation when people that are looking to vote for Harris, but at the same time, they're passport bros, their passport sisters are looking for traditional wives and things like that? What do you think they should do?
I think they should continue their pursuit in finding that. I mean, America is filled with all kinds of people with all kinds of desires and hopes for. I mean, you can, if you're looking for a traditional marriage, as it were, a man and a woman, where the man is apparently in this traditional view the head of the house and she's at home working and taking care of the family, that can be found. That can be found rather easily, actually. It can be found. Now, you know, there are all kinds of arrangements amongst people. So that's not difficult to find in America, a so-called conservative marriage and, traditional marriage. That's not hard to find. And those guys who are looking for that can easily find that. Now, sometimes we don't bring to the table what we're demanding.
I appreciate it, David. I appreciate it, because I think that a lot of times that's the confusion that I'm hearing, especially with Black men, is it feels like you're making, especially straight, heterosexual, real Black men, you're making them choose between left and right Democrats and Republicans when all they really want is a good wife. All they really want is to be able to afford to take care of their family without having their wife and to borrow money and to art. That's all they really want. They're not asking to be with Trump. They're not asking to be Republican. But when they talk to me, that's the dilemma that I'm in more than us. I mean, my lifestyle, I don't need to worry about a wife. I have a partner, but a lot of them, that's their issue. And the other thing is they worry about what the schools are teaching them. Not that whites are worried about the CRT. A lot of black fathers are out there worried about the ABCs and the LGBTQs. So at the end of the day, the education issue and what you're teaching our children at schools seems to be an issue for both people. And so when they say conservative, by default, if you say that word, you're Republican already. You support Trump. But maybe you're not. And most blacks, as you know, we're Democrats, right? So at the end of the day, when we're Democrats, what's happening is that we're sitting up and having to choose between choices that we shouldn't have to make.
Sure, you should. What I'm saying? No. Let me respond to that. Sure, you should. Because we have.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Look, we live in a diverse society with diverse viewpoints, diverse religions, diverse cultures. You're not entitled to have a conflict-free life. You're not entitled to that. And you're also, when you exist in a society as diverse as ours, sometimes your views will come up against a conflict with others. But that's the point of this country. Those views are allowed. Those lifestyles are allowed. You're not entitled to a life that is not burdened by the views of other people. That's why you live here. That's why you stay here. And to the extent you then say, oh, this quote conservative unquote lifestyle is the only one that's allowed, then you're not talking about America. You're talking about some other nation. That's not us.
I got you. I appreciate that. Because that's really what they talk. That's really the reason why it seems that a lot of them are leaning towards the right, is that it feels like you have to have a choice. But I guess you're right. If it's all inclusive and we're all the same, black, straight, white, gay, LGBTQ, trans, gay men, gay women, Asian, black, whatever, then we should all have the same rights. I see what you're saying. I guess that's I understand that. I do see how people can think that there's a choice to be made, because some things can be pushed down your throat, or at least seemingly pushed down your throat.
You're not required to accept any of it. You're not required in America to accept any of it. What you're not entitled to do is to impose yours on someone else. Yeah. That's what you're not entitled to do.
Well, I appreciate it, David. The last thing was out. Sorry, say it again.
Say it again.
A little bit of a delay.
No, I was just going to make the point that that's the beauty of this place. Each of us have our own views about life and love and the future and what have you. And you look for like-minded people with like-minded ideas, like-minded values, and like-minded goals. But to the extent those things impose on the next person who doesn't share that, you're not entitled to impose it on others, except by consensus written into law that we agree upon. That's it. And what we've decided is we're a free country. You are free to have your own thoughts, to be critical of the next fellow who disagrees with you, to be critical of your government, to be critical of your church or a church or any church or all churches. You're free to do that. You're free to be gay and get married. You are free to be a white nationalist. You're free to be a Nation of Islam member. that's exclusively black with a very Afrocentric view of the world, you're free to do that and believe that and have that as your lifestyle, as your way of living. But you're not free to impose any of those things on me. That's the beauty of this place.
I appreciate that too, brother. I appreciate that. And if you want to close this out, as you know, we talked before, and though I feel that I wish that someday let me break this into two parts. So I don't feel like I'm leveraging. First part of this is I do wish that they had a real 100% Black American candidate someday for president of the United States, male or female. And I know how you feel about that, but I want to ask you about that part of it. The other part of it is, also that I'm leaning towards Kamala because of her age and because she's a female. I'm ready for a serious change on that regard. And the truth of it is, I don't even mind the biracial immigrant parent situation. That I don't mind that. But I do wish that we had like a Black woman or man someday. 100% Black American parents, our experience that we can relate to, that came from somewhere we know. But until then, my main push, and I'm talking to a lot of my folks here, I know you don't agree with me, so I'm going to let you talk to me for a second before we close this out. But I like that she's young. I like that she's a woman. Not to mention her resume. I'm not degrading that. In my mind, no woman of color, no minority of color, no American of minority of any type would get to the level that she's got without being bad as hell. I'm sure no matter whether she's black enough, white enough, green enough, whatever she is, she's had to work 15 times harder than any of her peers, not to mention that she's a woman. So I don't want to go down that rabbit with you guys. I see that, and I think everyone who watches does. But why do you think that I should vote for Kamala Harris, besides her resume, and knowing that I like her age and that she's a woman, and I believe that we need that in politics in the United States right now? What's your opinion, sir?
Okay. The reason I think you should support this woman, this Black woman who has a Black father, the reason I think you should vote for this woman is because, number one, when she talks about America, she's talking about every person in it, with all those diverse views, all those diverse religions, cultures, languages. When she talks about America, she's talking about all of us. When the other guy talks about America, he's talking about one group of people, and he's otherizing everyone else. He's otherizing them as targets, as the reason for your discomfort, your displeasure, your lack of moving ahead, the lack of you getting a raise or being able to buy groceries. He's otherizing other human beings who do not deserve that. And he's using that to empower himself. And only a select and minority group of people to take the power of that otherizing just to empower people who look like him and think like him for his own self, his own self-aggrandizement. He is not doing it to help America. He's doing it for him, for his family, for his friends, for his country club crowd. It's not for people who look like you or me, who work like you and me, who need, like, kids without access to education, or women who need access to health care, particularly African American women whose maternal death rates are higher than in some so-called third world countries. He's not talking about those people. And he's absolutely targeting some people, more often than not, people of color. And I can't even think of an example where he otherizes white Europeans. I've never heard him do it. That's why you should vote for Kamala Harris, because she is actually for all of the American people. And in fact, has, talked about policies she'd like to see that help American people, from healthcare to housing to voting to human rights to maternal health care, all of those things that she has commented on and said she has a policy for. I actually like those things by and large. I can't think of very much I'd like to support or that I can find support for with the other guy. And I absolutely would never vote for someone who has as a policy mass deportations. I would never support that because I know the world has seen that before. I know the world has seen that before, not only in America, but in 1934, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, mass deportations. We've done this before, even in America. We did this to Hispanics, some of whom were Americans. But if you have that brown skin, it's easy to identify you with. And so when he talks about mass deportations, he's talking about Arizona in the 1990s. Show me your papers, please. Deporting Americans who got caught up in the raid. No. Anybody who tells me that that's what they want to enact as policy, I'm not going to vote for that person because I think that's a morally bankrupt position to have, to even think like that.
But so tell me this then. I'm just out of curiosity. Like Americans that do support all of these things, we're all still American. So
yeah, I just don't identify with that.
But say he does not win, Kamala wins, and everything's right. The Democrats win, and she wins by a landslide. There's still millions and millions of neighbors, white folks, co-workers, politicians, police people, firemen, teachers, who's even though they've lost, and we know he probably won't walk away quietly. But at the end of the day, they're still Americans. They're still right here with us. Even if we deport or don't deport, we're still in America, or you're still in America, stuck with those people. So how do you address those people? Even if they lose the election, they just go quietly and then what? What about Americans who feel the way that he feels? I don't feel the way that he feels, but I do realize, being from Kansas, right, where Senator Haley's from, being from Kansas City, that a lot of folks in my area, that's a Republican state now, I think, or either Missouri, I think both of them are. But the point is, what do you say to those people that, yeah, Trump loses, but they're still there? They still feel this way. As Americans, I'm not defending the immigrants, you feel me? Because there's no Filipinos that are going to defend me against Filipinos. I don't expect that of them. I'm an immigrant. I don't even get into local politics. I don't get into local issues. If I have two staff members that have an issue, I don't even address it. I'm like, y'all figure it out. I ain't getting into it because I'm an outsider. So taking the immigrants themselves out of the equation, what do we as Americans do when our neighbors feel the way that they feel, even though you beat Trump? America doesn't win.
Let me address that.
Please.
You know what you do? You do what any democratic republic does. You say, okay, I have a representative, and since this is a federal issue, since immigration is a federal issue, I have a representative in Congress who needs to have discussions with others who do not agree with him and some who do agree with him, and come up with a policy that we can get 218 votes for in the House of Representatives and 51 votes in the Senate, or 60 to get over a filibuster, and a president's signature that addresses those issues that concerned Trump supporter has. You get a piece of legislation enacted into law that addresses that Trump supporters' concerns about immigration. Well, if their concern is we don't want any more, and we want all of those who currently exist here illegally, we want them all out, then you get 218 votes in the House and 51 or 60 in the Senate with a presidential signature that humanely, in my mind, addresses that and perhaps even deports them. It has to be that way, and it has to be through consensus and negotiation with people who completely disagree with you. I don't want one single immigrant deported versus I want every single immigrant deported. Well, somewhere in the middle of that, in the hodgepodge, the sausage making, we come up with a law that can be signed by the president and enacted. And that's how you do it. You don't discard the views of the Trump supporters and say, oh, you lost, so we don't do anything about it. No, you get a Republican member of the House to introduce a bill, get some support with the Democrats, then get some support on the Senate side, get those bills passed, and then get the president to sign it. That's how you deal with it. That's how we've always dealt with all of the so-called issues in the country. What we cannot do,
my question actually is, and it's probably very complicated because I asked a question of Haley and he said it was very complex. My question is, besides politics itself and the steps you take to put a law into action or into reality, how do you deal with these human beings, these Americans who feel this way, that are your neighbors? That's in other words, I know how Black folks dealt with the fact that we couldn't drink in your restaurants, we couldn't eat in your restaurants, we couldn't drink from your fountains, we couldn't marry who we wanted to marry, we couldn't go over here, we couldn't go over there, we couldn't rent. We dealt with it. But now you see that when the tables are turned, white folks ain't like us. So you have these neighbors who disagree, and not just the immigrant crisis. There's a whole lot. You know, I'm talking about Trump. There's a whole lot between women's bodies and migrant crisis and inflation and all these things. These are the Americans that are next door. I don't understand what we do. How do we use the billions that they use for the elections, for example, to do propaganda, to do PR, to be able to show white folks that, one, all immigrants are not evil. I've got 5 bullet holes in my body from being mugged by a Mexican immigrant when I was 17 years old. But I blame immigrants. I blame that guy. There was 3 of them, actually, who mugged me in San Diego, not even the hood, not even Kansas City, not even Chicago. How did he get a gun? How did he get across a border? How did he get to Balboa Park? How did he get into, I'm walking home from work from my job when I was a kid at a night job. But the people who actually have never maybe experienced any of this, but they're literally scared. If you talk to white folks, they're scared of this situation. Because even if we put it into law, the problem that we have now with them reversing Roe versus Wade, Roe v. Wade, sorry. The reason that they're doing that is that they're scared. And if we don't, as Americans, fix our issue with each other, even though we're putting all these things in place, yeah, we can drink from water fountains now, but they don't really want us at the water fountains. I mean, there's this racist issue, there's cops issues, how do we fix that? And is that possible? Because I'm going to tell you this, too. I'm sorry, 2 seconds. The reason I like women in the office, and I believe that someone younger, is because I believe that is what Harris can do naturally, inherently, because she is an immigrant's daughter. She is biracial. She does go. So I believe that she could be the one, as you mentioned earlier, who can address the issues that Americans. So let me just put that caveat there before you answer my question, David.
Look,
That was my question. I'm sorry. How do we get Americans to agree with what we're to come on the same board as Americans? How do we do that?
well, when that your neighbor who wants to deport every immigrant that's here, illegally or legally, what you do is you engage in a dialogue with that person. You ask that person what their thoughts are. You try to find some agreement. You try to, and if you can't agree, try to find some understanding. Put yourself in their shoes. Try to engage with them with not just their issue with it, their complaint about it, but how can I be sympathetic or empathetic to their concern? How do I manifest my concern about their issue in a way that brings into play a solution to the problem that includes them and their view? That's the best you can do in any look. If a person is vehemently opposed to a woman having an abortion and thinks that is you killing a baby, and they could never morally meet you halfway on that, we just have to disagree. We just have to disagree. But what I don't think is proper is because you think that fetus is a human being with equal rights as the live, living, going to work, paying taxes woman. I just happen to disagree with you. I can't beat you halfway on that.
Yeah. I got you. I understand. I go with where I want to go. I'm actually I mainly Republican because when I had business in the United States, especially in Kansas, my company was there at one time, and now we're from out of Missouri. Um, I had to have affiliation with that party to do well in Kansas. That was even 20 plus years ago. And when it came to business stuff and fiscal stuff, it was just better. Now, mind you, this was not the Republican Party that we have today. It wasn't so divided. I mean, there was obviously I was in the party, so it wasn't like it is now. But there were less black, there were less minorities. I don't remember any Mexicans actually, Latinos. I don't remember any, maybe a couple of Asians, and things like that. But now they've been pushing their values and their things a little bit more aggressively. But David, I want to thank you for being on the show, brother. Man, thanks for enlightening us. We're less than 2 weeks out. We can probably get this together in a week or so. I'll see if we can figure out what's going on with Senator David Hailey's. Now his sound is off, where we got his voice and his visual, so it's always something. But you guys, I appreciate you being here, man, and giving some clarity. Because as you know, brother, we've talked. It was the couch until Kamala stepped into the picture. So even though I seem like I'm critical of Kamala Harris, I'm actually not. I'm actually just more or less. I just know that whether within the day with Trump and with Biden at the time, they're both have their issues, and both of them have been in office, and America did not crash and burn. So my thinking was, okay, let's just go for the change. Let's get some female spirit in there. Let's get some young spirit in there. And of course, she's compared to them, she's kind of overqualified compared to them. I do agree with that when it comes to politics. I do agree that Trump has his shortcomings, and I know what they are. I know them. I've been, I know what them between the way he talks and the way that it is. But to me, he doesn't surprise me as an old rich white dude. Biden, same thing, but he didn't surprise me as an old white dude. Like, of course, his health is declining, of course. So I want to thank you for being here, man, and just giving folks another perspective. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that, David.
Thank you, Kareem. Thank Senator Hailey as well. I really enjoyed his comments and his thoughts. And I look forward to doing it again sometime. And if you're out there listening, please vote. I'm biased. Please vote for Kamala Harris to save America and its democracy.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Have a good night, brother David. I appreciate it. And thanks for being here. You guys, as you heard from him, if you're out there and you want to save America, vote for Kamala Harris. You guys, she's saving America. The America, like you, as usual, is got to be saved. And if you're out there, apparently black folks, women, we're the ones that need to save America. Black expats, all of us, we're the ones that need to save America because she needs saving. So either way, I do agree with both Hailey and Youngblood that the United States right now is at a crossroads. That's why we named the title The Crossroads, you guys, because right now it is you got to choose which way you want to go. And to be honest, in my humble opinion, Kamala represents center lane. That's why she has more money than ever raised. That's why she's attracting Republicans and Democrats alike. That's why, because at the end of the day, the two white dudes are over here. She's in the center as a double, triple, quadruple minority, a black, Indian, female who's young. And she's also kind of an outsider when it comes to the whole political DC world. Even Trump, he was an outsider, but he really wasn't because he always dealt with politicians. So I believe that she represents the center lane. She represents a new direction through the middle. And that's why I'm leaning towards her. That's why it's the couch 20%, Kamala 80%. That's why at the end of the day, all I was waiting for, and these absentee ballots, we've got to make a decision here, and I think the next 72 hours or whatever. I have to look at the dates for us. But the reason why I'm putting this out here today is because I just want to be clear that I believe that Kamala, whether you're Republican or Democrat or not, whatever you are, she represents kind of center lane. She is a woman, obviously. So, of course, women's health is going to be a concern. She does have a white dude who's Jewish at home. So she's not just whitey-tighty Catholic. She's got a few. And the Hindu or whatever religion the mother was, raising Indian or whatever she may have been. So she has a lot more. She represents the middle, the masses much more. Because if you remember the diagrams that we've showed you numerous times here, that we represent, there's more people in the middle. And I'll show you this again. Left and right, Republicans, Democrats. Most Americans are neither. Most are neither. Most Americans are in the middle, myself included. Thank you, Julius. So you guys, thank you again for being here. Again, this episode was brought to you by our friends over there at Black Wellness Coffee. Make sure you guys get some black coffee. Make sure you guys support the whole campaign that we're doing for healthy food, wellness. And if you got coffee, make sure it's Black Wellness Coffee. It's natural coffee with no pesticides. We got a video coming later this week. I went to the farm. I saw the farmers, saw the beans, and walked. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to go to a farm where you can walk on the farm. It's not a neighborhood farm that has bumblebees and insects, and you have to watch out for snakes and stuff. It's a real farm. Things are living. Things aren't just dead, right? It was beautiful. So you guys, I want to thank you. We're going to play Kamala Harris one more time. to give you guys some love. We'll just play Kamala. We don't need to pay Trump. We'll give you guys the win for the Democrats this afternoon, this evening in America. You guys, thank you, David and David, for being on the show again. And you guys, as you said, if you guys want to save America, vote Kamala Harris, if that's what you want to do. Kareem Jackson live on the set. Success for everyone, you guys, and that means you. Cheers.
In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom. The freedom not just to get by, but get ahead. The freedom to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to make decisions about your own body. We choose a future where no child lives in poverty, where we can all afford health care, where no one is above the law. We believe in the promise of America, and we're ready to fight for it. Because when we fight, we win. So join us. Go to KamalaHarris.com and let's get to work.
I'ma keep on running cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
Jackson, you were live on the set. I've got some news to tell you. 10 years ago, I left California, USA on the beach, and I got on a plane. I went to the tropics, and I reinvented myself. I wanted to turn my dreams into reality. I had a great time, great friend. I published magazines, books. I meditated. I sipped coconuts, you guys. I had tattoo competition, weekly shows, and I want you guys to know I sat down, and I wanted to write step by step how I did it. How did I get free? How did I outsource everything? How did I get to where I could run my company from my laptop? And now I finished it. It is done. My new book, you guys, Outsource Everything, is out now. I finished it. I'm telling you all about how I gained my freedom, how I live in the tropics next to the beach in a beautiful lifestyle, and I still run my business. I outsource everything. My new ebook, it's out now, you guys. It's available right now, you guys. I made it to where freedom is here for you. You can get the same freedom that I did. It's totally possible, and it's totally doable, and this has never been a better time than to do it. Grab my new ebook, Outsource Everything, on Google Play and the App Store, you guys. And of course, KareemAntonio.com/my ebook. Outsource Everything. Outsource Everything, How to Be a Minimalist CEO by Kareem Jackson. An introduction for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Presented by K&Co America and the Chongson Group.
To break free.
Oh my God, you guys are still here. Hey, okay, you guys, I'm so glad you're still here. I'm so glad you stuck around to the end because I want to show you some more about my book. I'm so excited about this. Outsource Everything, out now, you guys. It's out now. Go grab it. On my website, you guys, KareemAntonio.com. You can go to the App Store, any of these places, and go grab it. I want you to sit down, ponder this, and think about, why do I have the stress I have? Why am I working so hard? Why am I a slave to my business? Why do I not have more freedom? There's folks all over the world looking that can outsource to you. I'm going to introduce you to this, tell you why you don't need that new car, you don't need that bling bling, you don't need that house right now. Outsource everything. Get free. What good is that money? What good is all that fame and fortune if you are working every day like it's a job? Freedom is here. It's here for you, you guys. Grab my ebook, you guys. Outsource Everything. Google Play, the App Store, and of course, KareemAntonio.com/my ebook. Go grab it, you guys.